basically the same, just as well as they did. They just drafted better. All they do is turn to gold. It's actually not true. There were many technical issues with Haunted Mines that had to do with the lower level issue. Medivh was like straight broken on mines. There were all sorts of issues with mines. They had to completely rework the map. But we're already going into this game. 0 versus Super Perfect Team on Team the Spider Queen. Game 1 of the best of 2 for the round robin for these teams. And EDC is going to be the ban from 0. And I'm still amazed that EDC made it through a draft in an Asia versus Asia game. But you're not going to make it through this time. Malfurion will be the counter ban by a Super Perfect Team. And 0 is going to need to make the decision. Do they want to pick up Murden or do they want to pick up Vala? Going by tradition, it's going to be the Vala. These drafts, Chinese drafts are so nice to cast because they literally like run on clockwork. And Super Perfect Team's going to be like, well, we can't let them have Tassadar. So do we take the Tychus and the Tassadar, or do we take the Muradin and the Tassadar? Or do we take? They're breaking the mold. Super Perfect Team's like, no, we've seen how this works out. We're just going to take Gul'dan. It's like magic. That doesn't provide them a lot of wave clear on Team the Spider Queen, which is critical. And Ariel is going to be the pickup as well. I like that combination. I'm so incredibly excited. See Gul'dan Ariel. Having Ariel with a good hope generator is like, it's like having a different hero. You have Ariel by herself or with a substandard hope generator, it's like, yeah, she's okay. You have Ariel with the right hope generator, and she just becomes brokenly strong. I am so excited for you guys to see this. Unfortunately, this doesn't mean 0 does get to pick up Tassadar, who is the ultimate Vala enabler in a lot of ways right now. It's going to be pretty scary. 0 also going to pick up Johanna. That does give them a lot of wave clear, which is, of course, critical into the Spider Queen. We, of course, saw the Dignitas game earlier. Dignitas didn't draft quite enough wave clear and just suddenly could never quite contest any objectives on the map. We're going to see Super Perfect Team actually banning Kharazim. They don't want to do that damage Kharazim nonsense, or even potentially support Kharazim. They saw what happened in the last game. They are not happy about it. They don't want to deal with it. And 0, they could ban Murden here. They could tank choke more if they wanted to do so. Are going to opt to ban the Tychus instead. It's pretty much down to either banning Murden or Tychus. Murden would have been the tank choke, but by banning Tychus and Vala kind of occupy the same niche right now of the hyper AA carries. The high sustained damage, that high burst potential, while also being an AA here. And we are going to see the Leoric pickup. That is sort of to counter the Johanna. Johanna, with her low mobility, does struggle versus Leoric. That's always been the case ever since Leoric and Johanna were... Even when Leoric and Johanna were like heavily in the meta. It was very common to see Leoric picked up to counter Johanna specifically, or even once you pick Leoric up, the other team was reluctant to pick Johanna. And we're going to see Chen picked up as the solo lane. It does give them double frontline, but it leaves them very light on crowd control. Something to consider, they have Detainment Strike, which can be a stun if there's a wall there. They have Leoric for Entomb. They'll have a lot of slows with Leoric's Q plus Chen's W. But other than that, not so much. There is going to be Brightwing picked up 4-0. That gives them a lot of sustain in addition to the burst, essentially burst, healing from Tassadar shields. The burst save, I guess, is another way of putting it. I feel like they need a little bit more damage right now. Currently, they're pretty much 100% dependent on that Vala for the damage. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Kael'thas picked up here. It is going to be the Alarak, though. They're going for more of a front line. I actually really like that decision, too. Just because Vala, even with double support, it's a Brightwing. There's only the burst shields. There's no other burst healing really available. So having that in the front line and having the playmaking potential of Alarak, especially having Alarak versus Chen, is something that is just incredibly valuable. And it is going to be the Greymane pickup for Super Perfect Team. Greymane's job is to get on top of that Vala and erase her through all of the support that can be given. to see how that ends up working out in practice, but both teams coming away, it feels like with pretty much exactly what they wanted in terms of the draft, which I'm always a little scared when two teams that I think of as relatively even clearly come away with the draft satisfied with their team comp, because both teams have so much confidence in what they drafted when that happens that I think the team that loses has to question whether or not their draft was good or they just lost because of outplay. We've not seen any Zeratul here on this stream. I know there's been some Zeratul in some of the games on the other stream. So if you want to check out some Zeratul games, you can go watch the VODs on GCWC. Or you can stick around here, hang out. We actually saw a lot of Zeratul in the global and Chinese wildcard qualifiers. Here's something you got to consider, though, about drafts going into this tournament. If you're confident you can beat a team with standard play, and all the drafts we've seen tonight are fairly standard, they're not breaking out any new combos, there's nothing gimmicky about them for the most part, and you're in a round robin where you're going to have to play tons of games. There's 56 games being played total over the next 3 days by 8 teams. Obviously, each team's going to play a quarter of those, right? That's a lot of games. When you're talking about heroes like Zeratul that enable certain kinds of playstyles, enable certain strats that are not necessarily not standard, but slowly becoming more dominant because Zeratul's just getting back into the meta with his buffs, you got to consider, do I want to break those out early or do I want to break them out late? Here we have 0. We'll have Melody C on Tassadar, M on Alarak, Gemini on Brightwing, SK on Vala, and 6 on Johanna. And on the right-hand side of the map, we will have Super Perfect Team. We will have Wings on Chen, Aluful on Ariel, Misaka on Leoric, Liang on Greymane, and Queen Zhao on Gul'dan. You're going to see both teams are sharking around in the mid lane. Going for the wave clear. This is one of the dangerous things about aggressive teams like this. They want to go for that full 5v5. Both teams are pretty much following the same strategy. Have a solo laner, have a strong 4-man rotation. When you're in that situation, you have to win the 4-man or win the solo lane to get really far ahead, and it's difficult to do that. Alarak doing beautiful work chunking there. Actually gets a 2-man combo. Misaka's forced to back out, but this is the beauty of Ariel, area of effect healing. If you can back out safely, group up, she can heal pretty much everyone up to full. I'm actually going to see Chen versus Brightwing in the bot lane now. This does leave 0 a lot more playmaking potential by having Alarak in their 4-man, but Chen can win the lane versus Brightwing. It's not actually easy to do because Brightwing has so much sustain. We're actually going to see Dream Shot be picked up for Brightwing as well, which is going to give a lot of damage potential against the Drinking Chen. Every time that shot's going to come out, that will have to be dodged. You can't just drink through it the way you normally would, because no Grounding Brew, that is Elusive Brawler at level 1. Oh, Queen Zhao takes so much damage, but barely managed to get out of there. Shield Glare, somehow not enough damage to secure that kill. And Talan goes deep on M, trying to make that happen as well, but neither team quite managing to secure any of the kills. We're going to see a little bit of a Drain Life come out. It does give him some health back. And you can see Chen in the bot lane just pushing in. We're going to see a rotation down here, it looks like. M is just waiting. They're trying to psych the rotation. They're saying, yeah, we're rotating. But they are going to get the combo onto Greymane here instead. And Leon gets to get caught in a corner, ends up going down. That is the first kill of the game, first blood, going over to 0. And meanwhile, we see Wings just botting Gemini in this bot lane. We're going to see the Polyos is down. That's going to mean Drink is safe, except for the fact that Dream Shot is a thing. Johanna actually gets Detainment Strike into the wall there. That is a kill secured for SPT. That removes a lot of the wave clear from this 4-man rotation until Johanna comes back up, which means that SPT could potentially take a tempo advantage here on this rotation for a little bit at least. And again, we see Chen in the bot lane. There's so much pressure. As long as SPT can maintain this pressure and Chen's winning the bot lane, they tie the 4-man and win the solo. That's just fine, right? Tying 2 lanes and winning a third means you're ahead. And most leads in Heroes of the Storm are built up out of incremental leads, not big, oh my god, we just won massive teamfight leads. Occasionally those do happen, but a lot of leads, especially in professional games, are built out of small incremental leads where you're winning one thing and not losing anything else. And again, we're seeing the aggressive wave clear from Gul'dan. Did take out the Echoed Corruption class at 1. We are looking for that. Actually going for Willing Vessel on Leoric at 4, so we're trying to see as much healing done from the W as possible. Almost always see Hardened Bones be the pickup. Sometimes Heal Team to Death, particularly on maps like this. But Willing Vessel is pretty uncommon because you don't normally get concerned about healing for 5% more versus taking 25% less damage when you really need to take less damage. Especially in the pro scene, Burst is so well coordinated and focused. Hardened Bones just does a lot in that regard. Again, beautiful Wraithwalk denying the Condemn engage. Misaka not getting any value out of the Leoric's trait has actually lived. Sorry guys, I forgot to turn the game. I forgot to turn the stream sound back on when it was loud. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to hear the game sound just because it is very quiet on the clean feed, but it is there. 7 finally picked up for SPT. We are gonna see Bursting Light. This is one of those talents that is incredibly valuable. Zero actually manages to get that turn in. Very nicely done. This is one of the talents that, you know, we see whenever you have a ranged hat target that's really good at generating hope, you can actually get multiple full heals off every 2 seconds in a lot of cases because you're getting so much energy back. Vala, Gul'dan, Shogal, Lunara. These heroes provide such constant damage over time, such sustained damage that you can actually just get it back fast enough. Look at that. Look at how fast that hope generated as soon as Gul'dan threw out that corruption. Easily able to get multiple heals off. We're currently seeing full Q build out of Brightwing. Dream Shot and Arcane Flare. Lots of poke potential. Lots of extra damage. And we're actually seeing Alarak go for additional sustain at level 7. This is a talent we've seen more and more and more of lately. With the sustain meta seems to be sort of coming in where heroes are drafting double support comps, talenting more in sustain seems to be the direction HOTS is heading in the competitive meta. At least Gemini going to take a lot of damage here. Does get cocktailed, but not enough. And SPT doing a reasonable job defending this turn in. Only the bot Webweaver is still alive. They are going to lose bottom fort, it looks like, but losing a fort when your lanes were pretty pushed in and you managed to respond and get some counter pressure of your own. You can see Greymane is still in that top lane doing real siege damage to buildings. Fairly well done. Fairly well done. We're actually going to see Aussie Renewal picked up for the Orc. Again, more self-sustain, more self-healing. It's a talent we almost never see. We'll help him come back a little faster. I don't think that's the objective here, though, because if he wanted to come back faster, he would have picked up Reanimation 1. Instead, it was that helplessness. We're going to see Brewmaster's Balance as well. Level 10 is picked up for 0. We're going to see Rain of Vengeance, Blessed Shield, Force Wall, Counter-Strike, and Emerald Wind are the pickups. And 0, I'm surprised they're not being a little bit more aggressive and trying to force a fight down the talents here. They are getting their lanes pushed in, and we do see Super Perfect Team in the top just doing their best. We're actually seeing a rotation onto Chen. This is the kind of aggression I was talking about. They're looking for that pick. Chen is pretty far forward, but he is mounted, which makes it obviously harder to get that initial kill, because as soon as he sees you, he's going to be riding as close to as he can get to safety immediately. Misaka actually breaking the first Wolf Orc Cup, missing his Drain Hope on the Johanna. That's very unfortunate. They could have potentially chunked 6 a lot. And 10 will be picked up here momentarily, which means there will be a fight started almost immediately after that. And Zero actually has enough gems to do it another turn. It looks like they're not quite going to try to do it. Oh, we do see Zero Metal Seed try to get the turn in, but Entomb is there. And Detainment Strike against the wall. Horrifying coming down. That's everything. Everything they could burn for damage there was burned to secure that kill. Emerald win for the disengage. We are going to see Aegis come down. Grayman gets absolutely erased. So this ends up being a 1-for-1. Another beautiful Detainment Strike on a 0-6. Mikasa is dead as well. This is 2-for-1. And despite the fact that fight started out 5v4, Zero had all of their alive heroics available. SBT committed a little bit too much to that kill on Tassadar. They are going to manage to kill the Vala. Leoric's going to be back up here momentarily, and this fight's suddenly going to turn into a 4v3, 4v2 maybe. Tassadar's now going to be here. This is now, again, a 4v3. But in the end, Zero M is out of mana. Melody C is back alive, but that's just a Tassadar. And they do manage to pick up a significant number of their gems, but Zero lost that team fight and then won it and then lost it again. We're going to see another beautiful Entomb. Look at that Entomb just locking Tilong. Looks like it actually locked Tilong in there a little bit too long, but we are going to see Misako with the zoning. Not able to deny, however, the goaltending is real, and they're just trying to get this turn in. They do sacrifice Chen for it, but they do finally get the turn in SBT. And now 4 kills to 4 kills. We're going to see the Orc with the Wraith Walk does get out. Luful with the Peel, Detainment Strike going in. The Orc does throw out his W. He's going to get a lot of self-heal off of that. And everyone is extremely low, but no one else dies, and everyone's just going to back off, heal to full, come back, and push with the Web Weavers. That fight went on a long time and ended up being almost completely even. Mid Web Weaver is going to be cleared out instantaneously. It looks like SBT is going to opt to push as 5 with their top Web Weaver. We see Tassadar in the bot lane clearing it out. We're going to see a 4-man rotation to the mid. Zero is going to have to depush this 5v4, or 4v5, excuse me, for the moment. Oh, that Entomb was beautiful, but Iron Skin denying the Detainment Strike follow-up that has been working so effectively so far. We're going to see a little bit of aggression from Wings here kicking in. He's waiting for the Web Weaver to get in range before he goes into the range of the buildings. We're going to see Telekinesis interrupt his drink, but he doesn't care. He's going to keep diving onto this Vala. So much damage. Actually changing the focus to 0M. We're going to see Emerald win for the disengage, but Alarak ends up going down in the back regardless, or in the front, I should say. And 13 is going to be picked up off the back of that kill, plus the fort kill from SBT. We are going to see more Q talents picked up for Gul'dan. We almost always see Hellstone at level 13, at least in the competitive meta. We're going to see Crushing Hope. We're going to see more of the Donkey Kong build. Quite a lot of cool talents, a lot of heroes that we haven't seen so far. Another beautiful Entomb into another Detainment Strike secures a kill on Johanna. And they're actually going to get a kill on Zero Gemini as well. That hurt to watch. These Entombs have been so on point. The Entomb Ariel synergy is something that I've talked about a lot. Theorycrafted a lot when Ariel first came out. The Orc could potentially make a comeback in the meta to some degree if there were people started heavily banning a lot of tanks because of that synergy, and it's finally starting to happen. I'm very excited. For the record, that level 13 talent Detainment Strike causes the Detainment Strike to hit every target in the line. It does not stop at 1. If you Entomb 3 targets and then Detainment Strike them, all 3 of them will get stunned at the back of the Entomb. It is a long duration stun. It hurts. And we talked about in the draft how SBT was a little light on CC, but you only need to stun someone once if your focus fire is really good to get this kill. We're going to see Misaka get force walled out, trying to get the delay here. Does manage to get the Q on him in time. SBT Wings is there as well. And neither team... SBT doesn't quite have another turn in. They are turning in the gems they have in the bot, it looks like, which means they will, be right on top of it. But we are going to see Mikasa go down for the delay, but that's just a Leo arc. No one really cares. Wings did finish his Donkey Kong quest at level 4, so he does have those long-range barrels, but not there in time for the interrupt. Detainment Strike coming in for the clear. Wings trying to do the jukes. Does not quite work out. Is going to end up going down. That's both the frontliners dying for that delay, and that delay not happening. That's not what SBT wanted to have happen. This is going to allow Zero to de-push all of their lanes. We already see Brightwing in the top, Tassar in the bot, getting that soak. They do have that wave clear, and the self-sustain is actually becoming so important here, because with Alarak and Johanna in the front line, having Walls of Hope, having that sustain talent on 7 for Alarak, they can be away from their team for a little bit and sustain. We're going to finally see Brightwing Z and Tassar is now here as well. And this is close in experience, 15 to 15. SBT doesn't really want to fight. They just want to clear if possible, but they can't quite get to it, and they're afraid to send heroes to the other lanes. Top fort is going to go down basically for free. Zero's getting very, very close to 16. They're not that far away. The tower and a wave should just do it. SBT's a little bit further away than that. And again, their group is 5. They're trying to clear this Web Weaver. It does finally get clear. They're going to split and clear the bot Web Weaver and then go top. They're actually not even going to split. It looks like they're going to stay together as 5. They don't want to risk splitting up. Both teams pick up 16 at almost the same time. That was incredibly close after everything that's been going on. This game is just so incredibly close. We're going to see another Entomb. We're going to see... Ball actually throws out Rain of Vengeance to deny any potential follow-up there. Oh, well, you're trying to get in front of Entomb and do something to me. I'm not going to let that happen. You're going to be forced to deal with this. And we're going to see Chen end up going down. Emerald Wind splitting the fight, making sure that he cannot get out of the situation. His team cannot get there in time to save him. Web Weavers are all down, but this is now a 4v5. And Zero's going to try and secure this bottom keep. We are going to see Corruption come out and do a lot of damage. Beautiful combo again. They're going to get a kill on Leoric here, I believe. No, yep, it does end up going down. Hardened Bones actually would have saved him there. So critical death in some ways. He will be back as relatively quickly. It is a Leoric we're talking about. But bottom keep taken out for Zero. SBT gonna have to deal with that lane pressure. And top keep was actually taken down as well by the Web Weaver. And SBT was playing so scared. They wanted to be together to get that combo off, but at the same time they needed to depush their lanes, and instead they stayed together constantly. And as a result, they ended up losing 2 kills and 2 keeps, which is not the situation they wanted to be in. Beyond going for a little bit of a flank there, throwing out the cocktail. Not going to get too much after that. Is a full cocktail build. I don't know if his quest is finished, and I can't check, unfortunately. But I really would like to know. At this point, SBT is going to be forced to push out their lanes to keep their lanes maintained for the rest of the game. Which is something that's always really difficult to deal with. They do have a sufficient wave clear. They have a lot of wave clear, actually, so they're not going to be too big an issue for them. But in some ways, it's also just the fact that it's constant, and we're going to see a beautiful combo. Aegis is forced out. Force Wall for the follow-up, and that is going to be an easy kill onto Gul'dan. That's going to be another kill on the Leoric. At this point, Zero is going to be able to secure level 20, and they might even secure middle keep here, and then back up, get enough gems for turn in, and end the game. It looks like that is going to be the plan here. They're just pushing in. We can see SK being extremely aggressive, getting onto Leon. Middle keep secured. Level 20 almost here. 12 more gems for Zero to pick up, and they will get their 3rd consecutive turn-in? No, 2nd consecutive turn. It just did so much work getting multiple keeps that it felt like it was 2, but it was actually just 1 turn-in. It was just 1 perfectly executed turn-in. They're going to turn in the gems they have, just in case. You're going to see SBT, again, grouped together pretty much as 5, pushing out their lanes, top lanes together. Looks like they are going to be checking boss here. They're a little bit afraid boss is going to be happening. Boss is not happening. Zero is playing very safely. They're just going to soak level 20. 13 gems away from turn-in. We're going to see a combo on the Leoric, but he does have Wraithwalk. He is going to be able to get out of there. $20 is now picked up for Zero, and at this point, they can do pretty much whatever they want. It looks like they are going to continue to get gems. They will have an uncontested turn in here momentarily. They are only 3 gems away, which is 1 wave. Unfortunately, all of their waves are pretty pushed in, which is actually going to make it difficult to collect 3 additional gems. They're still 3 gems short of the tournament. And again, their lanes are so pushed in. Bottom lane is actually basically on core. Bruisers are going to be picked up. Zero just doing what they can with what they have. They don't want to fight without the Web Weavers pressing in because they want to put SBT in an impossible situation. They do finally get the turn in, and now they're going to be aggressive. Now they're going to start looking for that fight. Corruption comes out, gets some free damage on Tassadar, but he does have his E available. Heals himself to full. Not a big deal there. Force Wall, Entomb for the disengage, essentially trying to isolate that fight. Doesn't actually quite do it far enough forward. And we're going to see Blessed Shield come down. That does secure the Golden Gun. Aegis is going to help a little bit, but now Ariel is going to go down regardless. And we're going to see 0-6 try to get some damage onto Liang. The wall is there. Liang does have a retreat path. But the Bruiser camp is here in the mid lane already. They are going to have to kill this tower in order to get this wave to go all the way onto core. Liang ends up going down. That's 3 for none. And that's going to be 2 Web Weavers, Catapults, Bruiser camp, and 5 heroes on core. That is going to be game, 100%. 90% on core, 80% on core. GG, 0 versus Super Perfect Team, up 1-0. The Alarak and the Vala doing just incredible amounts of damage.